Whoa! It's Wulzy. Welcome back to another Jump Dash building video. Today I have the biggest challenge I've ever done. I used to do a bunch of building challenges, so we're bringing it back. This song is apparently called Song in GD, but it's because it's using like funny characters for the song title. It's by Zorbarax, and we're just gonna go right off the rip here. We're actually gonna make an easy level. I never do this. The challenge for this video is that we are only allowed to use fire objects like these and these and these. And what 2.2 added the ability to do is go into the animation settings and we can just pick out a specific frame. I'm gonna do a bunch of spider orb stuff here and then a slight little float and some extra bouncy jumps with some pads that you can hit from the underside, especially hitting a blue pad from underneath. It's just a really dynamic gravity change. Because this is gonna be like a 4 or 5 star level, I'm gonna make the orbs massive just in case the average player is not expecting to flip gravity. Probably gonna be a lot of flashing lights in order to make this work, so I just want to be safe and know that everyone can play this level because this is gonna be a nice simple challenge. This could be the most satisfying piece of gameplay I ever make. Hold on, I gotta get this right. Ooh, we're even gonna shrink down that speed portal. Bop, 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 bop. Ooh, it's almost there. Oh, brother, don't forget, always warp your speed portals and hide them. Okay, my first thought is to flip 2 fire objects together like this and just start warping them to form outlines, and we can probably make like a box design. Yeah. Before that, let's set this up with orange and yellow on the base and detail. Ew, we should probably put blending on that. Okay, I'm gonna put the background as black, which is a weird choice. Just gotta see the vision. So for the first line, I'm gonna just warp it inwards like this, making it taller, and this can go on a different layer and have less hue on both the base and the detail. And then we're gonna do another one like this, which is gonna be another layer again. It's gonna go back to -60. Let's start giving these groups. This can be 10, this can be 11, and the next one can be 12. And we're also going to give everything a group, which is going to be number 13, 14, 15, 16. Now let's area fade this when we get there. Set it on the player. First off, we're going to go for 11, which is the orange layer here. It's going to go to full opacity. It's going to have a pretty good length on it. Then we're going to have another area fade for the next layer, which is the pink. Less length. And as we go past, this should light up. Okay, that's cool. Then we're going to loop the outlines one by one. So 13 is going to start fading on, and 14 is going to fade on, 15, 16. Fade it off the block after. Loop that. As we go across, it's got this cool effect, and it goes pink as we go past it. I've copy-pasted this a few times just so I can test it better. I'm going to copy-paste it again, put it on B5 and onto a new layer here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a shader to affect only the bottom line. We can mess with some effects like radial blur if I put this on like 3 times. In game, it's not bad, but I'm wondering if I can combine it with like a bulge or something. If I type in a number like 80 or 90. Whoa! That was insane. Hold on. That's not bad. We can do better. We can loop this bulge with a bunch of different numbers like 202, 64, 91. And we can do a really small one like 12. And then if I put fade times between these, should get some pretty cool effects here. Yeah. Okay, this is beautiful. We can shrink this design for the smaller blocks too. We can give that the opposite rotation pattern to the blocks that exist. Okay, we're cooking. Somehow this is still sight readable. I can just warp like this, except on these blocks, we're just going to use the regular outlines and keep them on the bottom layer still. Just not trying to make this messy at all. Normally, I don't like pillar decoration, and I prefer cooler looking structures with better shapes, but I thought this would be fine due to the fading outlines. Plus, the regular objects are almost 50 objects in total, so I wanted to tone it down a bit. Okay, this is neater. Okay, then, just by putting this little flame object on single frame, we can have a spike that's going to go on all 3 of these layers and put them on the background layer as well. I'm not sure if that's going to be visible as a spike, though. Okay, this spike looks fine. It should probably be animated, to be honest, just to fit in with the rest. I'm going to do a test here with the middle layer, the orange. Scaling it up by 2.5 on both the X and Y, and decreasing it before it ends just to see what happens to the background. Just hoping to make that more intense. Okay, it is. Beautiful. The blocks stick out a tiny bit. If it's really a problem, we can just get all of the objects on the bottom layer and make them the only ones that scale. And let's see, 22 can go up by 5 instead, not 500. Let's try and make the background more intense. Whoa, okay. That's insane. Oh, it's because everything was linked. It should be okay to undo. Jeez, that was close though. Get rid of that. We only want the bottom layer here. There we go. Oh, the background's way too sharp with this. I think any more than this would be too much. This is 2 times scale. The contrast with the blocks in the background is so important. Now I think the most important thing to do is give the pads some recognizable detail here. We just go next free. We can get a light blue. I want to do another version which is a bit thinner too. Yes, that looks beautiful. Okay, we can do the same with yellow, but that's already a color channel, so it's kind of light work. I'm gonna make a saw blade now using a stretched version of this. I copy paste around in a circle. It could work if it was just slightly taller, just to give it more recognizable spokes. Yeah, it's funny because this saw blade is going to be the center of this object's rotation. The thing is, every time we pass this saw blade, we need the rotation 23 around 24 one time, 2 seconds, ease in out, something like that. And then we have to select the whole thing, link it together, and copy paste like this. Then we're gonna do a smaller version, which is just great. Just shrink it down using the lock feature on the warp. Just putting this near to the original most of the time. So I always really like how the saw blades guide you through the level by showing you the curves. So you see that they're rotating around the centers. These look so good, actually. Now we're just gonna do pulses, and because we have everything on 2 and a hue of it, we can just pulse this over to like a pink, and it should go like purple-ish. Yeah. Do the same thing for 3, make it go purple. Just loop these pulses. We should have it going to purple every now and again by giving them a group 85. The correct trigger to use is stop. We go 85, and because this goes to green, all I have to do is just copy paste, go up, put 3 in green, and then just put the same loop on again. Lovely. Great. I like this purple pulse in the background. I'm gonna keep that. Oof, this goes hard now. I could stop and start this the same way I did over here, but what I'm gonna do is just set these to copy a color channel, which doesn't exist yet. We're just gonna set it up. Gonna make that purple, bada bing. And then literally at this point, I'm just gonna change that color channel to go to the light blue. Now the background's going blue. Perfect. And once I've added some underlay fire objects in black, just to show the objects a little more clearly, I should be able to move on to the ship part. I'm testing a transition where all of the objects scale up as we leave the part. Holy crap, this looks so sick. Anyway, this works by setting literally every single object on the level to group 92, apart from these beautiful portals. We have a center point right here, which is group 93, and this is where everything is centering on. Here we go. Scale up. Okay, it works. Now, we can also do that exact same thing to transition onto the level. I like that transition in. Okay. I'm gonna try and make an outline using a bunch of these objects to try and make like static. If I make a circle real quick, this works. Let's scale it down. We probably have a cool circle here. These can be used area move triggers, like 96. As we get there, the objects are gonna move up a bunch like this. Maybe a bunch of variants. 100 length. Just see how that looks with a bunch of different lines on it. It should look pretty interesting. Okay, we have to add an easing to that and increase the length just to make sure we can actually sight read the gameplay. Yeah. I'm gonna copy paste that on the inside, give it group 97, which is gonna be put on this area scale that has a bunch of interesting scales on it. So as we're getting close to it, it starts scaling. So we go past and this object has a bit of a kick to it on the inside, which maybe gives it a bit more texture. Almost. I think this is an object that's gonna have to go into the back. B5, pixelate that. Ooh, interesting. Yes, I like that. And then this fire can have its own area scale, but it's going to be nowhere near the same. I'm touch triggering this because this trigger is notorious for breaking the entire level if you don't put it on touch trigger. Let's just make this somewhat interesting. Now all we have to do is turn on hitboxes and just make one that fits the exact circle here and just hide the saw blade. And the area will just take care of everything. This is actually beautiful. Of course, we can just warp this entire thing down and just vary it. The more of these objects I have, the easier it is to see where to go. And that's honestly quite ironic. So you'd think, oh, these are kind of huge and blinding, but stops you getting jump scared by giant structures. This is sick, actually. I really like it. Yo. I'm actually gonna jump into this level with super thick outlines and just make the ground line black. Just loop a yellow pulse on the line here. You can maybe have an orange pulse right after. Yes, this is nice. This is much better. I gotta turn off the particles in the level too. Background effect off. Then we just make arrows using stretched fire objects again. Should be really simple. Just have to make a thin line, a bit longer. Then we can just put little arms on it. There we go. We can honestly set this to black blending and just do the classic age-old Wulzy pulse where it goes one after the other. So it starts off on group 101, obviously. Main only, it goes to orange. Something short. Then halfway through, you switch it to be detail only, and that can be yellow. And then you just loop these two pulses. The fire kind of just like dances a little bit, yeah. I'm experimenting with a few movements for this arrow as well using area move, and it's going to be a little bit weird. It's going to be flames because I'm just going to put a bunch of them in with different sizes. I'm not trying to make some goofy puns here. By the way, let me know if you like these long form videos that I've started doing because I'm having such a good time making them. I think this wave part's going to be very similar in concept. You can just do the detail, black blending. If we just double this up, this should work in a square. It doesn't even have to be a square. It can just be this, to be honest. We can do a trippy little 9 circles style section if I just set a layer behind this to be yellow. The whole thing was 96, and this section had to be 97. But I'm going to take precautions here. I'm going to add this to a group 104, which is going to fade on and off like this. Not that long. Just so this object doesn't always stay there, yeah. Just hide some gameplay over here. This matches the hitboxes pretty well. Just link that together, and we can do a cool wave part. While we're at it, let's just add a random coin. This arrow is probably going to be very confusing, but I think it's funny, so I'm going to keep it. So our new ship section is looking glorious. The frame rate's taking a slight hit, but that is a-okay with me. Let's take a look at this wave part. Oh my gosh. Okay, this needs to be nerfed. Okay, the low opacity is not doing it for me. Okay, this looks fine. I gotta add more detail to the background, but this is a good start. We have to do some meticulous pulsing here. Let's just start a new color channel for number 7. I'm gonna go around the color wheel very quickly, starting off with red, then we're gonna go to orange, then we're gonna go to purple, and then we're gonna go to pink over here. I think we're gonna do a long fade over to a green, a short one to blue, and then we could do a long fade from here back to yellow would make sense, so we can start this loop again. Then all we're going to do is just set up pulses for, what were the colors, 2 and 3. I'm just going to go like 0.2, 0.3, copy whatever color is in 7. And 3 is going to do the same right after. Oh, the arrows aren't changing. Okay, interesting. The arrows just have to do the exact same thing. They just have to go off of 7 instead of a color. I'm just going to put some ground decoration into this section by warping a flame. I'm going to make this black blending and give it a group 117 and then give it a unique group, ooh, 120. I was expecting that to be 118. I'm surprised. Anyway, we'll just lock that here. And I think I'm going to put like a modification of it so it only goes like 80% with the player. I'm going to copy paste, move it to the right and just add new groups. So 120, 121, 122. Okay, I've put down 40 of these objects. I think we could do with another 20 or 25. We're going to copy paste it, go up to the top, and we're going to flip this around the opposite way. Starting with 120, going to copy color channel 7 with a bit less hue. With short fade in and fade out times going in a staircase like this. Okay, we've got 12 triggers here. Let me just show you how it works. So it lights up on the bottom, but that's nowhere near quick enough. Simple thing to do is to just scale this down so when we play, it just zooms past. Okay, we're approaching 189 now. I'm gonna warp down now. And because you get instances where the ceiling is just straight up ceiling, I'm just gonna start the next loop like halfway through. So it kind of, yeah. Boom. Oh my god, look at these spawn triggers. Oh, it actually didn't loop the way I was expecting it to. There's a little bit of a gap there. Oh, I don't know about this one. They kind of look strange. I'm going to add them to a group 330 now, apparently, because of the spawn trigger loop. Y is going to be crushed 3 times and then brought back up. Okay, this looks fine, actually. I dig this. This looks good. However, one thing I would love to see is a scaling loop for the X, which is going to go up like 10 times, 330. This is going to be interesting because it's actually going to interfere with the pulsing loop, and also have a smaller version because I'm nice and have an even smaller version just to give it like a bit of a chill moment. These are going to run completely out of sync with the other scaling loop and hopefully give the part some unique vibes, but I really like this blur that we've got. Wait, this is sick. Okay, now it's time to copy the values of these giant outlines. Hopefully create some blocks that I can use in this section. I'm gonna use black blending more though. Maybe I just have to flip the colors here just to make that a bit more impactful. Yeah, that looks neat. Put that on this layer, but I can also just scale up with the lock on and just put the opposite color set that we had before onto B5. Group 97 for that opacity change. Transition going out. Oh my gosh, they're so big. What? Oh, it's 104. Dude, I knew it. I knew there was something I was missing or misremembering. Okay, let's see. Yo, that's not bad. All I really have to do is just change the overlay to go super far over to the left. Let's see. Yes, this looks fantastic. We're going to start working on the swing copter and the robot, which is going to be fun. You might notice that I'm just leaving all of these sections blank, and the honest truth is you don't need gameplay. Unless you want to do something like syncing a dash orb, that's probably quite serious. And like cube, robot, the stuff without borders, it's pretty important. If you place an obstacle in a ship section, you're just going to have to avoid it. But for this, you kind of have to figure out where to land, how to hit orbs, etc. Make that interesting. Nice little staircase down into a ball section to end the level. I kind of forgot how fun it is to make easy gameplay. Making the same difficulty gameplay, but with different click speeds. It's interesting. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take an object like this and flip it around to the other side and then stretch it out super wide. Maybe make these objects a little bit closer to each other. I'm gonna set 3 and 2 as the colors. It's gonna be group 339. Then I'm gonna copy paste by half a block and give a new group 340. This is 20 layers. I'm gonna just flip the opposite way and just cover up the other side of the screen with it. Stupid high opacity, but that's because I'm gonna put an area fade on it. Let's give the whole thing a group here. We can go 359. We have to make it on the mode where we're going on the horizontal up and down. We have to lock it to the x-axis too. So now as we get closer to it, we should be going up and down. What you're witnessing right now is 40 minutes of footage of me trying to develop the background in the swingcopter. I tried many different scales and sizes, along with different shaders, but in the end, the result was extremely satisfying and flipped the texture of the fire in this section to a smoother aesthetic, despite all of these rough efforts you can see here. This wasn't the only section where I was fumbling for a background, but I wanted to include this entire session in the video because it went through the most changes and I was losing my mind. I even had to settle with a jumbled version of the original setup because I tried so many things that I just couldn't place the blocks in their original spots. Okay, so I've shuffled this a little bit. Then I've added a radial blur that makes it go super strong in the negative direction and then the positive direction in a loop like this. Then there's going to be a pixelate that makes it stretch out on the X and then slowly fade back down to normal, and then it changes on the Y but less intense. I'm also rotating it back and forth a bunch, like +4, -2. So the level just failed to load from the start position. That is actually quite freaky. I've never seen this happen before. My game is not crashed somehow. Okay, what if I invert the color here? Ease it out and then we can shift it back off afterwards to 0 like this, and invert it back on for this section and invert it back off, and then just loop these like this. Okay, let's take a look at the colors for this section. Oh my god, it's time to make the block design for this part, and I've been dreading this, but I think I have an idea already. Just have to stretch this thin and then go thinner and add a little color on top on the next layer up like this. So just number 3. Let's make this a little bit thicker overall. Yeah, that's a bit better. And if we just copy paste half space down with this group on it, which is 420, funnily enough. Okay, I'm hiding an object that's just gonna stretch and fit in with these objects. My strategy here is really bad, but I think it's actually going to work. 'Cause the great thing is I can just make this skinnier however I want and the structure will change. So this is awesome. Dude, this looks sick! Like a saw blade using this object here. Oh, this is so much fun. Hide this saw blade. We'll make it a little bit smaller just to make the hitboxes a bit more fair. Yo! I can't believe it! Oh my gosh, 420, move. Just random angles, random distance. Okay, maybe not that much, that's crazy. As we get there, dude, there's just so much potential here. This is, okay, that's outrageous. I can't do that. That is not one of the potentials that exists here, to be honest. Here we go, let's try this again. Okay, this is a bit better because it's distorting. Oh my god! This looks so sick! Oh my god! And then on this ball portal, everything is going to scale up. It's actually going to last 0.5 seconds. I'm going to keep that as default. And this is just going to go 100, 100. 420 is going to center around 423. This is so insane to look at. Here we go. So we have this. Ooh, that looks a little bit odd. But then we have the scale off. Cool. We can probably add some kind of little funk to it where it goes back -4 and +12. Setting up a camera here that is going to lock onto the portal as we're going down the stairs and then quickly exit static. So let's just see how this looks in normal mode. Nice. That's so good. I think I'm also going to toggle each one of these layers off as we go down, which is 339 to 358. I'm going to scale this down to 0.5 and then move it into the middle of its duration, activate these groups, and then just toggle them off again. So as we go down, this background is going to break, apparently. What? Oh, it's because I toggled 359. Whoops. Just trying to make this look corrupted. Okay, that looks cool. The rotate was a flop. Get rid of that thing now. Now, the true challenge is going to be working with these slope objects. And then just copy, paste, and move up like this. Okay, here we go. I think this is clear enough as a slope. I don't know. Is this going to work? I think it works. And for spikes, I've got to do something slower for sure. How am I going to get the player to jump that? Honestly, I might have to make this like super tall. That's probably more jumpable, to be honest. Probably do a color change, honestly. Like a -30 huge. Something subtle, but enough to show it's different. Yeah. Oh yeah, these look like spikes, all right. Yes, this looks sick. Yay! There's a little orb deco to match the insides of the blocks. Dude, I actually cannot believe we have made it this far, but this is the final background now. We're placing this fire object on, I don't know, 3 and 3 for now. Why not? The center is very important, so we need to get this right. This is group 424. Okay, let's put this on layer number 5. And let's place a scale trigger. 425 is going to go around 424. It's going to scale up like 40 times. You can now copy paste this over half a block and click build helper. Then we just keep copy pasting these and build helpering like this. Now we have a bunch of scale triggers that are going to scale these up as we go past. These are going to have a group that is going to 624. 624 is going to lock on the X with a mod of like 0.6. And this is going to last for the rest of the level. Going down. Locking on the aspect ratio here. I'm going to copy paste, move it a little bit to the right and move it up so I can see it. And then just divide by these numbers. Do one more to the left, and then we're gonna loop these. This might lag so much. Oh god, this is never gonna load, is it? Oh, it looks quite cool. It's not too intense though. I was hoping it would be a bit more lively than that. Okay, what if I undo that loop real quick? Can I do that? Oh my gosh. Okay, let's just do this, and then we can just spam click these away. We're warping even further down. Okay, here they are. They're on a very short duration, and I'm going to copy paste, move them, decrease on like a longer ease in out type of movement instead of a bounce out. Let's just trust it. We have to copy paste this multiple times in the loop for this to work the way I want it to. That's 1,800 triggers. Let's loop. Oh my god, that's gonna take so long, and it's gonna take so many groups. I'm just gonna try and look at these spawns. Oh my god. Dude, what's my next free? 1,900. Ooh, that looks decent. Interesting.
Oh my gosh, I think I see what's happening. That is crazy.
It's like a giant scaling effect.
Why did you make it so wide? It's huge.
We can definitely put that under a shader and have it look fire. This is gonna be my first time trying the chromatic glitch trigger. Yes! This looks so good. Thank you, chromatic glitch. Now all I have to do is make a design. We are going to make a giant, and I mean giant, fire object. It's gonna start off small, and it's gonna get bigger, and we're gonna line it up. Gonna go so big. Okay, that looks absolutely phenomenal. But we have to copy paste it, and then go to the layer below, put it on black like this. Gonna move it up and to the left by 1. Then we're gonna move it 2 to the right, 2 down, and 2 left. So this has now an outline behind it. You can see it when you look on top of this background. And this is now going to go on every single object. This is gonna make a pretty nice little island for us to land on. Yeah, we just have to give them a group 1942, which is just gonna have a nice movement on it because I feel happy and nice. We're just gonna make some kind of simple movement that's somewhat varied. Gotta hue the spikes the same way I did before. Okay, let's take a look at how these blocks look. The movement is a lot, I gotta be honest, but it looks sick. Oh my gosh, this background just stays here at the end. I can totally just flash an end screen on top of that. Okay, arrow speed run. We start off with 2 pieces of fire in a circle. We rotate them really close to one another. I'm also just gonna make another version with 2 instead of 3. That's gonna go like right in between. But I need to zoom in and focus on this because I can barely see what I'm doing. Let's just take like this section. Copy paste it down. Yo, that's so cool. 1943 is gonna be like 40% opacity. I think this curvy decoration is gonna be super unique. We have to do this section, dude. I'm gonna make a corridor over here with some objects that lock to the x-axis and move up and down. Let's just say 10 seconds. It moves down with ease and out. It's gonna go down like 20. Some kind of section with saw blades that you've got to avoid. Now, this is gonna be pretty impossible to read with all of the fire, but at least it's an interesting gameplay segment. Then when you hit this orb, there's gonna be a rule that number 2 is gonna be toggled off. It should be a pretty simple section like that, yeah. And I wanna do a little spider orb gimmick to end in a little cube section, and then we can just do one more to end. Fully saturating these, and we're gonna add group 1944, which is gonna copy this area move with its own group, and all of the movements are going to be negative. Then I have to do the method that I talked about earlier, which is going 1 up and to the left, and just copying 2 to the right, 2 down, and 2 to the left. So now you can see it's standing in front of the background with a black layer behind it. Okay, let's see how this looks in game. Oh, this opacity is going way up. I'm so carried by these triggers, it's not even funny. I'm just gonna fade these off as I get there, which actually looks kind of sick, to be honest. Like, the dark rainbow is something that I wasn't really expecting to add into the level, but I think it looks neat, so I'm keeping it. This spider orb is going to be the center of the camera after this movement with sign in out, because I should find this is the goat for any camera movements. This is also going to have group 1947, which is going to fade off after the level. All of these objects, the ones that are on screen, are going to scale up around this point. It's just a pretty goated transition, I have to be honest. I'm going to go 30 times in scale. I almost just forgot to put that as the center. Whoops. The next free is 1950. I'm just going to slap this onto the touch toggle, which is going to be a spawn triggered scale trigger. Sign in, scale up 10 times. Group number 2 around the orb, I'm guessing, which is going to be 1951. Okay, bada bing, bada boom. It didn't work? Are you serious? No, I didn't give the scale trigger the group. Man, we're so close to getting this to work. Group 2 is going to start off divided by 100 on the scale, and then it's going to multiply by 100 as we get to the blocks, just to transition them on. Then they're going to scale off around this orb. Can't believe we're at this point, but I'm making an end screen. Oh my goodness, this looks sick already. I'm gonna start off in the ceiling. Real quick, I'm gonna copy paste and put a black layer behind it, the same as we've been doing, because it looks cool. 2 right, 2 down, 2 left. Then this is 1952, 1953, 1954. I'm gonna move down with slightly longer move times for each letter in this word. And boom, that should be the level done. Just need a color trigger at the start of the level for number 2, which makes it fade onto its color with blending, and 3 with its default color as well. I just need to set them to black. I'm starting this level off, by the way, with a camera zoom of 1.6 and then zooming out to 1. Without further ado, this is Lit by Wulzy. Let's go! And that end screen is so beautiful! Let's go. How many objects? 27,000. What an experience. The level is out on my account right now. Thank you so much for watching this Geometry Dash video. Check the links in the description, leave a like and subscribe, and have a good day.